Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by FPL Salah to preview Game Week 12. Abdul, it's a big game week. We've had obviously some time off in the international break.
Yeah.
And the main issue really at the time of recording is sort of flags and just the unknowing, I suppose, of whether certain players are going to be fit for Game Week 12 or not. Just like a general set rep from you before we get into your team in particular, just how are you feeling about FPL at the moment and these injuries in particular?
Yeah, feeling good. I mean, I'm always. I don't hate the international breaks as much as I did before, but I'm glad to have it back. And yeah, there are a lot of flags. I'm certain a lot of them are international break injuries.
Okay.
I think Mbeumo and Semenyo and Palmer will be fine. Not too sure in Saka. I think that might be. He was taken off at 1-1 on the 81st minute, so I think there was something there. But he has had 2 weeks to recover, so yeah. But as we know, we're not really probably likely not to get anything reliable from Arteta, so we'll probably have to rely on journalists or any sort of early team news for him.
We were just talking before we started recording about Zinchenko's quote from his book. Can you just tell the people, in case they haven't seen that, what Zinchenko really disclosed?
Yeah, so he basically said that, he likes to play games with the opposition. I've seen him tell injured players to come in on the team bus and walk into the dressing room with their wash bag so the other team is put off the scent. So we've seen this, we've seen that with the Timber and the Saka stuff a few weeks ago, and so that's just confirmation. That's his own player that's still at Arsenal saying that. So it's not good news for us FPL managers, unfortunately.
No, I was saying to you off camera, I would do exactly the same if I was an actual manager. But yeah, as FPL managers, it makes it very, very challenging to know what's going on.
It does.
But that's the same for the opposition, so it makes complete sense to me. Let's have a look at your actual team then. And I just want to get your general thoughts on it. 2.3 million in the bank. How many transfers do you have?
So I've only got one free transfer this week, Jack. So I'm in a bit of a conundrum, but I am looking at making a transfer this week, at least one.
Okay. Oh, at least one. Wow. So before all the flags, did you have a set plan for this week?
So my plan for this week was Son to Saka. Right?
Okay, I thought it might have been that.
Yeah, so that was kind of planned in from weeks ago. Obviously, I will need to wait. I think we've had confirmation that Palmer's in training. Maresca had a press conference this morning. Apparently, Semenyo wasn't seen in training, but that doesn't really mean anything just yet because there's still a few days left, and not all the training pictures were out. So this is from the Bournemouth training pictures. And Mbeumo, we'll have to see again. Waiting on Thomas Frank's press conference, which is at 2:30 p.m. today. So it's like a one hour from
it's
now.
Worth time stamping that. We're recording this on Thursday at 1:30.
Yeah. So assuming they're all fine. That was a move I was gonna make, but with the Saka news, I think we've had this morning from one of the reliable Arsenal accounts that he's in the race against time to be fit for the game.
Yeah.
So we've not had Arteta's press conference yet. There's a few days left, so I guess we'll need to wait on other team news and see what happens. I do doubt that I'll make that move now. It's just a bit too risky. Son is okay. It's City away. It's hardest fixture of the season, but City are the poorest they've been defensively in a long, long time. Probably the poorest since Pep has been there from a defensive point of view. With all the injuries you've got, Rodri being the main kind of missing link there. So I think that could be a decent fixture for Son. We'll catch them on the break. We know how Spurs play. They're going to play to attack. They're not going to go there and sit back. I'm not too kind of disgruntled about keeping Son this week. So instead, I'll probably do Solanke to ISAK, which was my second move.
Nice.
So if Saka was fit, I was actually thinking of doing these two moves for a hit. With bringing in Saka and Solanke. Bringing in Saka and ISAK. Because I think my team is a bit behind because I still want to get another Arsenal defender, either Ray or Saliba, and I want that in the next few weeks. And I still want to get João Pedro and I want to get a Brighton defender. So I've got a lot of transfers in mind, and I've not got many transfers to make it. So which is why I was thinking about the hit. Right. But I probably won't do the hit now. I'll probably just be looking at doing Solanke to ISAK.
Okay, yeah, a lot of upside in that fixture for ISAK. And since coming back into the team after his injury, he's been so good.
Yeah, he has been, and he's one of those. He's on penalties. He's nailed to start. I mean, there are going to be a lot of games coming up in December, and I think Wilson is nearing a return. But I don't think. I mean, we've not even seen him
Who
in any
cares?
play any minutes yet at all. So until we see that, I wouldn't worry about that until we see. I mean, I guess if we see like Wilson in training and he's on the bench next game, then you will have to worry. But yeah, until it happens, I won't worry about it.
I mean, Isak is he has the sixth highest predicted points of any player across the next 4 game weeks, according to Fantasy Football Hub. And
Yeah.
Son is just above him. Actually, has the same number of predicted points as Saka. Now,
Yeah,
obviously, Saka has the flag, so that takes away a little bit. But it's worth thinking about that and whether that move is actually worth it, given they're pretty close on projections.
Yeah, definitely. And there's another thing as well is that after City, like Spurs' fixtures aren't too bad. Like they've
Yeah.
got Fulham, they've got Bournemouth, Chelsea home, then they've got Southampton. So I mean, I can feasibly keep Solanke or Son, during that period, and I'll be fine with it. Although ideally, you'd want to have. I'd want to have a Saka or Isaac instead of them two, but it's not the end of the world. They're not. I don't think they're kind of pressing transfers I have to make. So that's what I'm looking at. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking with Solanke this week. It's just to bench him if possible, and then just
Yeah.
I don't think it's a pressing issue out. Although if I could get to Isak, I definitely would try and do that because I think he is just in a completely different level. I think he's in a level of his own actually behind Haaland, which is maybe a little bit harsh on Watkins, but this season I think for sure.
No,
Um,
I agree because I think that this season Watkins is a much worse asset because of the Champions League, and we've seen him being taken off early loads of
yeah.
times already. So yeah, I totally agree.
Okay, let's talk about who you're going to start this week because I've got it here. I've clicked optimize team at the bottom,
Uh-huh.
and it's therefore put your Fantasy Football Hub has put your players in your starting 11 based on how many points they're predicted to score.
Mhm.
But it's whether you are actually going to go with this or not. And I don't know. I don't think you will. You might. So defense, it has Gabriel, of course, starting,
Mhm.
and then Lewis and Mikalenko are starting, and Ait Nouri is on the bench. I feel like you probably wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, no, I've currently got eight Nuri, Mikalenko, and Gabriel on my bench. I've got Larson, Lewis, and Greaves, obviously,
Okay.
because he's still injured.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think eight Nuri's attacking threat is too great. It's not a good fixture. I mean, Fulham are a good, decent side. They're very likely not going to keep a clean sheet, but I do like his attacking threat. And the only reason Lewis is benched is because the chance of him possibly being benched in this game. And unless I guess if we get early team news, just for example, and Lewis starts, then I'd start him over Mikalenko, not
Right.
eight Nuri.
Not Ait Nouri. Is that good
No,
going
no.
forward? Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I want to ask you about defenders in general, and just who you'd be looking. I mean, you said Saliba there. Still keen on the Arsenal double up, of course, but
Yeah.
outside of that, is there anyone that really competes with a Saliba or even going for a Raya or something, or should we all just be kind of looking to get that double up?
Yeah, no, I was looking at Fleck and Terray as well, so I can afford both those
Oh,
moves.
right, okay.
So with the money in the bank I've got, so I'm not sure which way I'll go yet. I think the reason why I'm slightly tipping more towards Saliba is because my defense is quite weak. So bringing in Saliba kind of solidifies that. It just kind of you're not going to play the double Arsenal defense every week, and I've only got one position there, one other defender position I can rotate with. Whereas at the moment, if I get Gabriel and Rea, I'm still going to be rotating them to defender spots. Mikalenko, Ait Nouri, and Lewis, which isn't the most robust, and I've got Greaves out there who's still injured. So, and even if he wasn't, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
I doubt I'd be wanting to play him anyway. So that's where I'm leaning. But Rea is just as good an option, and I'm saving 0.5 million on that as well. So I'll see with that. I'm still kind of unsure on that. But yeah, the Arsenal defense is definitely where I'm looking. I think with other kind of, there's a lot of good budget options there with like Lewis Hall, Colwell. Chelsea got great fixtures coming up. So they'd possibly be guys I'd be eyeing up, if I already had a double Arsenal defense there. Good options.
Okay, let's move on. I just want to talk about forwards a little bit. Calvert-Lewin, obviously not been very good at all. He's been awful.
Yeah.
But is he a pressing, like if you're an owner, should you be looking to get him out this week? Or are there actually, like now that we have all these other issues, is he just a sort of like, Just play him for one more week and see what happens.
Yeah, he's only just there because I'm looking at the tournament of Pedro in the next few weeks. I'll see how Pedro gets on this week if he gets a start, how many minutes he gets. I mean, he's a player that is a top priority for me,
Yeah.
João Pedro. So yeah, it's mainly because I want to turn him into to Pedro is why he's still in there. Otherwise, yeah, if he was my kind of only pressing issue, then I'd be getting rid of him. But
But you're
saying
starting him over Strand Larson. So I
yeah, I
mean
was
there
gonna.
must be you must think there's more upside in the Brentford
Yeah.
game.
So saying that, I just think the Brentford defense is terrible. They've conceded the second least goals. They've got the third worst expected goals conceded. So their defensive numbers are like kind of on par with the promoted teams.
Yeah.
Really, really bad defense. So that's the reason why I'm playing Calvert-Lewin and Larson. He's not really exactly nailed for 90 minutes every game, and Fulham away is a tough fixture.
Yeah.
Um, I can't imagine him scoring more than one goal if that in this game. So yeah, so on that basis, Calvert-Lewin gets another run out in my team, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's sort of like week on. You have to make these decisions week on week. It's hard to make a transfer sort of with like,
Yeah, and you know what? You've got to take your emotions out of it. So
yeah.
you've kind of I've been so frustrated with Calvert-Lewin, and I just can't wait to get rid of him. But you can't be sentimental in FPL. You just got to go with the guy who's got the best fixture, and who you think is going to score more points in that particular week.
Sometimes I don't know if you do this, but sometimes I think about an individual player. I did it with I'm doing it with Solanke quite a bit, where I thought, like, okay, how many goals realistically do I think he's going to score this season, and in a rough range?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, unless a player has an unbelievable season or a really really bad season that is often due to injuries, I mean, it's unlikely that a player that you would expect to score 15 goals will actually score like five. Most
Mm.
of the time you have a sort of prediction of how many goals a player will roughly score in a season, and they will get around that mark within 5 to 10, I would say. Do you often think, like, with a player like Calvert-Lewin, okay, he's probably going to get 7 to 10 goals. Therefore, at some point, he will score. He will score a goal. Maybe that sounds a little bit too like rudimentary, but that's sometimes I think about this.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, so you like at the start of the season, I'd have maybe Calvert-Lewin, maybe I'd say 8 to 12 goals, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of ballpark. But I mean, just because he's only scored 2 goals so far, I mean, I wouldn't say that. I know what you're saying, but I don't think like he's due another 10 goals this season. I just think you've got to go from where you are. I think from
Okay.
now until the end of the season, I think he'd be. I don't know. I mean, if he's fit, with the form he's in, I think he'd be lucky to hit double figures now.
That's fair. It was kind of like with Solanke with the Ipswich game last week. Last week, I'm not saying I was right here or anything, but I'm thinking to myself when people are saying, "All right, let's captain him," and obviously there's upside in that. There's a lot of upside in that fixture,
Yeah.
but he's not going to like. It's sort of the same thing with Kane back in the day, where you're like, he can't. It's impossible for him to score a hat trick in every game. He's not going to score like 60 goals in a year. There will be easier fixtures on paper where he won't score, because that's just football. So it's kind,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, okay, well, there is a chance that Solanke doesn't get anything in a game like Ipswich, because he's only going to score probably maximum 20 goals in this season. I don't know. It's
Yeah, I
kind of,
mean, look, I know what you're saying, and it is good to have that ballpark in your head, especially when you're looking forward in transfers. Like, when you're looking at from now to the end of the season, you think who's going to score more goals, but we just don't know when those goals are going to come.
yeah,
Like, our best prediction is they're going to come during the easier fixtures, and that's the best way to kind of play it and predict it. But ultimately, I mean, Solanke, he blanked against Ipswich last week. He could score a brace against City.
yeah,
We
yeah.
just don't know. But it's obviously more likely that he was going to score better in easier fixture, and that's all you could do, really.
Probably a pretty weird way of thinking. I concede, but let us know in the comments, guys. Do you have any sort of weird strategies or sort of personal things that you do to aid or sort of I don't know, influence your FPL decisions at all?
It's funny because there's one thing that I do, which is like just totally it doesn't make any sense. But if a player is scoring goals, I always think he's more likely to blank in the next game. Because he's like, surely he can't do it again.
Yeah,
Like, sometimes with Haaland and sometimes with Kane last season. And if a player's like, he's a good player, and he's not scored for the past 3 games. I think, okay, no, he's due now. He's like, so, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't really play out that way. But yeah, it's just a psychological thing that you have, and it's hard to overcome.
Let's move on to your recommended transfers this week. Guys, if you don't know what this is, every single week, Fantasy Football Hub will recommend your team a transfer or what to do with your transfers. Every single week, personalized to your team. All you got to do is sign up to Fantasy Football Hub. There's actually a 7-day free trial going on right now as well. So if you're in desperate need of knowing what to do with your team this week in particular, for example, if you're on wildcard, there's also an AI team's best wildcard as well, which can really help. Then sign up. And if you want to, after this game week, you can cancel and you can get all this stuff for free. But you're going to like this, Abdul. Your recommended transfer is Solanke out and ISAK in.
Awesome.
And that's it. Simple as that.
Done deal.
Just the one. No, not saying to take a hit. This is the sort of thing. You're not the sort of manager that's going to go, okay, yeah, this is the recommendation, therefore I'm going to do that. But it must be nice when you see.
It's good to get that confirmation bias, especially from like a model, because we know they've got no emotions. It just goes on like stats and numbers. So yeah, it's good to have that bit of the backup from the AI tool for sure.
Okay, I want to get your thoughts to round off this video on captaincy, really, and in a more general sense, sort of like I want to hear what you're thinking with Haaland in particular. Like the fixture this week, I think is very good for him. Not saying that he's necessarily a better captain than Salah, but in a bigger picture, are you thinking about potentially a way in which you get him back in?
I mean, I've got game week 18 kind of penciled in my head, but it's still not like it'll be if I do get him back, it'll be at least game week 18 I wait for when City's fixtures pick up, right? But even then, like if from game week 18, like Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal's fixtures are really good as well. So it's
Right.
gonna. I mean, even if you're switching from say Salah back to Haaland, it's still a big risk because Liverpool's fixtures are really good. So it's like it's one of those where I don't really think he's desperately needed. I think you might want to go there if that's fine. But if you don't want to go Haaland, even from past game week 18, I think that's fine as well because there's going to be good alternative captaincy options from there on in as well. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I have got a game week 18 kind of in the back of my mind, but it's by no means like a confirmed transfer for me.
Yeah.
I think right now I'm kind of happy to go out with him. I mean, I know it's easy saying that when he's not scoring well, but and we do know he's going to start scoring well soon. But I think with the money that I've got in the bank, I can just have an overall better team, and I've got Salah and Palmer there, and soon I'll have Saka, who will be good captaincy options.
And if you had both this week, if you had both Salah and Haaland, who would you captain?
I'd still go Salah. I just think Southampton is the slightly better fixture. I think with Salah we've seen this season like he's on like he's had one of the best starts this season he's ever had. And I think with the new bonus point system as well, I don't know if I watched if you watched the above average
Yeah, it's
pod
really good
on the bonus point system. It's really, really good. Recommend you to go watch that above average FPL. So basically Salah's goal I mean, it's kind of across the board, but Salah, the way the BPS system is this season is when Salah scores, he pretty much gets bonus points, like guaranteed too. Whereas last season it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Because you're getting points for shots on target as well. The BPS system, and like when a forward scores, it's pretty much guaranteed bonus as well. But obviously Salah's the midfielder; he's got the assist threat. Southampton, I think they're going to be without Ramsdale this week as well. So they're kind of not got their first choice goalkeeper. So for me, I'd go with Salah on that basis, and just kind of going ahead as well. That pod I watched on the bonus point system gave me more confidence in Salah going forward, like long term over Haaland. So yeah, I'm happy we're going with Salah, and I think if I had Haaland, I'd stick with the Egyptian. But I think Palmer is a good shout this week as well, to be honest.
Well, do you think he's going to, this is the thing, do you think he's going to, is he definitely fit? And do you think he's going to play the full game or close to what he usually plays?
I think so. I mean, he didn't go away with England. He played the full 90 minutes last game against Arsenal, and he's had the 2 weeks rest. So yeah, I think he's way too important for Chelsea for him to like be minimising minutes. So I think he'll be totally fine.
Okay, well, I hope as a Chelsea fan that That is true.
Yeah.
And that is what happens. Okay, mate. I think that's going to do it for this one. I think we've covered most things.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments down below if we've missed anything. I'll be in there. So if you've got any further questions, maybe more personal questions to your team, let us know. But yeah, Abdul, as always, thank you very much. Good luck this game week, and good luck to all of you guys as well. We will catch you on the next one.